Lanes in Price's Corner, Delaware. Steve Turnberger with John Thompson Jr. from Price's Lanes today. And our first match of the day features Jim Johnson Jr. taking on James Conway. And John Thompson, two very good bowlers. Jim Johnson, possibly one of the top in Delaware.
He's pretty near the class of the state. Mr. Conway is going to have a good match. He's going to really have to bowl his heart out.
Johnson with a 221 average, Conway with a 190 average. This is our first match in the Star Challenge right here on TV2. We're just about set for game action. It's James Conway taking on Jim Johnson from Price's Lanes in Price's Corner, Delaware, right off of Kirkwood Highway. Saturday afternoon bowling from Price's Lanes. The Bowler's Gazette right here on WNS TV, cable channel 2. This is James Conway, left-hander on lane number 9. And Jimmy gets off to a nice start.
A good wall shot there. Not bad. It's a good way to start a match.
And John, that's very important to close some frames early. And just the confidence factor must keep building through each frame. Here's Jim Johnson Jr. 221 average for Jimmy. Pulled it a little left, and Jim will be looking for a spare here. First frame, he's on lane number 10. He has left the 4 and 7 pins.
Both bowlers are a little stiff on the first shot. Jim got away with it, and Mr. Johnson didn't.
So Johnson picks up a frame or a spare in frame number 1. He'll move back to lane 9. Johnson finished 39th in the 1980 U.S. Open out in Texas. Came away with $600. And John, that was some of the top bowlers in the country back in 1980 when Johnson was out there.
That's a heck of a tournament down there in Texas. He did himself and his state proud by doing that well.
Beautiful strike for Jim Johnson in frame number 2. So Johnson with a pair of marks, a spare in frame 1, strike in frame 2. Conway now will move to lane 10, working on a strike in the first frame. Conway, 36 years of age, current average right now at 190. James is the assistant manager right here at Price Lanes.
He pulled through that ball a little bit. He didn't give it a chance on the left side of the lane.
James will leave the 5-7 in his second frame. A lot of experience for this man, 22 years. Conway, second frame, cannot come up with the 7 pin, and an open frame now for James Conway in the second. He'll move back to lane number 9.
He seems to be a little off in his timing. It's causing him to jerk the ball through on the bottom part of his downswing. If he can maintain or maintain some rhythm, he could give Jimmy Johnson some trouble this game.
Don't forget, Johnson is definitely the favorite here. 221 average, Conway a 190 average. Conway, the left-hander, frame number 3. Not at the top of his game right now. John, in teaching, say the younger bowlers coming up, and even bowlers in Jimmy Conway's age, I'm sure a lot of bowlers start at that time. Is it any more difficult teaching the left-handed bowler to the right-handed bowler?
Not really, because your fundamentals and basics are the same no matter which side you're coming from.
James Conway needs 4, 7, and 8 pins. Third frame. Remember, he's working an open frame in 2.
Really struggling with his timing now.
John, the TV cameras, the TV lights here, and the nice crowd behind us must have an effect here on these two bowlers.
I don't think the TV lights will bother these two guys, but it is kind of hot out there, and it might be bothering Jim Conway a little bit.
Johnson has been in this situation before. He's bowled here on Channel 2 and also in some big tournaments around the country as well as in the Delaware Valley. Johnson now with 2 consecutive strikes in frames 2 and 3. He's on lane 9 here at Price Lane's 4th frame. Johnson. He avoided the split and he'll pick up the strike.
He must be Irish.
Very fortunate there for Jim Johnson. 3 consecutive strikes.
Part of the reason why he could carry a shot like that is his rhythm is good. He's nice and smooth with a lot of extension.
This is James Conway, lane 10, 4th frame. And James did not get the same luck that Jimmy Johnson got.
He had better execution that time.
This is a big frame for Conway. He really needs a spare here. Conway looking for the 6th pin, try to pick up a spare in frame number 4. And he will get it.
He changed balls there. He went to his edge. Maybe mentally that'll give him some more confidence and get his stroke back.
James has one child, Jimmy the 3rd, 13 years of age. Lovely wife, Pat. Start of the 5th frame for James Conway. Working a spare. Big strike. Big strike for James Conway. We'll take this quick pause here on Channel 2. Big tournament from Price Lanes.
Bowlers leave out an equally important ingredient, coaching. To improve your game, coaching is very important, and Price Lanes, located at Price's Corner, has one of the area's finest coaches, John Thompson Sr., with over 20 years coaching experience, available Monday through Saturday afternoons from 1 until 5. The coaching is free. All you pay for are your games. Available only at Price Lanes. Come out and strike up a friendship at Price Lanes.
We're at
and be a mentor.
Welcome to Inside Bowling. We have a pro bowler here with us now. How many years have you been on the tour?
This will be the completion of my 6th full year out here.
And what got you started in bowling?
I started when I was 7 years old, and I bowled every year since then. I'm 31 now, so I've been bowling 24 years.
Did you bowl in the junior programs?
Oh yes, I bowled all through the junior programs and went up through the preps, bantams, and junior leagues.
What kind of average did you carry as a junior?
The highest average I carried was 191.
When, after you graduated from the juniors, when did you become a pro bowler?
Well, I graduated from the juniors when I was 17, and I went to college for 4 years, and I became a pro when I was 27. So that was 10 years later.
What made you decide to give the pro tour a try?
Well, I always reading about it when I was a kid, but I really never, after about the 10 years after I got out of high school, I really never gave it much thought, and then I started taking bowling seriously about 7 or 8 years ago, and I just kept getting better and better, and then finally I got a couple of people approached me with some money that wanted to, had me try the pro tour, so that's what got me started.
About how many games do you practice a week?
Usually when I'm home off the tour, somewhere between 40, 60 games a week. When I'm out here, we only have time to practice maybe at most 10, 15.
That would be usually like a day like today with the pro-ams and so forth.
Yeah, today or possibly yesterday.
How many, you usually come in like a day before the pro-ams start?
Yeah, usually we get here, like on this format, we'll get here the day before or maybe 2 days before, depending on if there's a rabbit squad or a PTQ as they call them.
And how do you go about going to the different tours? Do you have a van, or how do you get there?
Yes, I just bought a van last May, and I travel a tour in that and stay in motel rooms.
Does it get a little bit tiring sometimes?
Very, very tiring. it's not only the physical strain, but the mental strain of bowling out here every week against the greatest bowlers in the world. And it wears you down after a while. Sometimes you have to take a break. I usually take 1 or 2 weeks off at least a year.
Okay, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll be right back with more of the Bowlers Gazette right after this.
Price Lanes in Price's Corner, Delaware, right off Kirkwood Highway. One of 8 bowling centers in Newcastle County. This is Jim Johnson Jr. working a pair of strikes. Frame number 5. Jim, you'll get it. Johnson now taking control of this match. Through 3 complete frames, Johnson with a score of 80, working 2 strikes now going into the 6th frame. On lane number 9. Pulled it a little bit left and Jim just missed the pocket.
He dropped his shoulder down that time, really came across the headpin with it. Wasn't a bad shot, he could have carried it.
Johnson with pins 6 and 10. Working a strike in the 5th. And Johnson will pick up a spare. Jimmy has not had an open frame throughout this match. Conway had a pair of open frames in frame 2 and 3.
Important in match game play to stay clean. Try not to give yourself any opens until you can get your rhythm and get a few strikes.
The Star Challenge right here on WNS TV, cable channel 2. The Bowlers Gazette. Winner will receive a minimum of $100, loser a minimum of $50. And Conway now running into some serious trouble. Conway 50 pins down now. His second ball in the 6th frame. That's a tough shot here. Conway
Nice
will
spare.
get it.
Nice spare.
Beautiful spare in the 6th frame for James Conway. 36 years of age, the assistant manager right here at Price Lanes. And I guess James has somewhat of a home court advantage here, bowling the same place he works at every day.
I think Jim's bowling one leg down here, but I'm not sure.
Conway now on the 9th lane here at Price. Won't pick up the strike, but sets himself up nicely for a spare in the 7th frame. Needs the 3-pin.
Jim's going to have to go to the wall if he wants to get back in this match. JJ's not likely to open up and give him a chance.
Conway will pick up the spare. So 2 consecutive spares for James Conway in frames 6 and 7. And now Jim Johnson returns on lane number 10, his 7th frame, working a spare in the 6th. Johnson destroys him with authority.
It's been a nice tight line to the pocket, just using his natural rhythm and extension, and he'll get a lot of pinfall that way.
Jim Johnson now with a big lead over James Conway. Johnson with a 148 through 6, Conway a 96 through 6, and Johnson with another strike. He is really coming on strong. After somewhat of a slow start, he had a spare in frame number 1, strikes in 2, 3, 4, 5, spare in 6, and a pair of strikes now in 7 and 8. James Conway, lane number 10. Lefty with a 190 average currently. Plays in the Silverside Majors League.
He lost that ball real short. He never did get his rhythm.
Didn't get the pocket either. He needs the 1-3-6. Second ball, frame 8. Conway, 113 through 7. Nice spare.
That's the best ball he's thrown his whole match. Everything was smooth. He reached and extended right out to his target.
James Conway, the Star Challenge, here on the Bowlers Gazette. This is the 5th center we have hit on programs here in the Bowlers Gazette. Hope you've been enjoying the new Junior Bowlers Gazette right here on Channel 2. Conway in the 9th. Big strike for James Conway.
That's exactly the way he threw his spare ball. Really got into his rhythm, stroked it out there. It's beautiful, but I'm afraid it might be way too late.
And Jimmy Johnson has really come on strong. Working a pair of strikes at 7 and 8. And one thing that can save Conway now is just disaster from Johnson. And Johnson will be looking for a spare. He walked to lane number 9 and thought he was going to get that Irish roll again.
He had a little skid on that shot and left the weak 10.
Here's the 10 pin, Jim Johnson. Just a matter of business. Spare in frame 9. Johnson now with a 197 through 8. Conway a 133 through 8 frames. Johnson on lane 9 is 10th and final frame. Johnson, big strike to open the 10th, and I guess we could say it's just about academic, Jim.
Yeah, he put Jim Conway down this time. It's a shame Mr. Conway didn't get started with that stroke earlier. We could have had a real nice match.
Johnson now with a 217 through 9, working his second ball in the 10.
You can always count on one thing with Jimmy Johnson, and that is you don't get out of the gate slow. You have to be on top of your game right away.
Johnson needs the 9 pin in the 10th. Third ball. Jim Johnson will win this match. Jimmy has 13 300 games, 2 299 games. Remember, he was 39th in the 1981 U.S. Open in Texas and the champion of the 1980 Delaware Top 10. He also has won 3 scratch tournaments right here at Price Lanes. Conway in the 10th. Johnson will finish with a 237. Jimmy's average coming in was 221. James Conway looking to reach his average, and he'll pick up the spare in frame number 10. James Conway, 1 bowl left here in the first match of the Star Challenge right here on the Bowlers Gazette. Remember, the winner of tonight's match will receive a minimum of $100, which will be Jim Johnson. Loser, a minimum of $50. Final ball for James Conway. And he rips them down. Final ball for Conway. And that'll make it look somewhat respectable. Jim Johnson will win this match 237 to 173 over